So we are back at Kenston School. We're going to talk about a little bit more about the American education with one of the main people here.
I'm Beverly Beuttener. I'm the library specialist at Kenston High School.
So you're working at something I would call, or you are calling a hub now.
We do call it the hub.
It used to
Last
be a
year we
library.
called it library.
Yes. So what's changed in this?
Well, lots of things haven't changed. We still have books. I have a budget with which to buy new books for students, for novels, for pleasure reading, things to support the learning in classrooms. My last spring, the majority of the money I spent went to buying books to support the Women and Minority Studies class, which was a new class last year.
Great.
So
you're the one who is deciding which books should be bought?
Working with teachers to do that.
So teachers come to you and say, I need this book.
Right.
So it's your job to bring it to the school?
Correct.
Okay. So you have some assigned funds
I
from
do.
the school?
Correct.
Oh, that's great. That's
Yes.
great. So you're the one who that's very important.
In my opinion, yes, it's very important.
So
and going from being the library, which last year had a large number of computers, so English classes were able to come in and print, and science classes came in and worked on things. This year, because our students went to one-to-one Chromebooks, so each student has a Chromebook assigned to them to use, we don't need as many computer labs, which gave us options here. So when talking about that, and last year we got a group of students together, and Ryan Novak, who's English teacher, and Todd Malkus, who's art teacher, and I led a group of students. We each asked some students. I talked to kids who think that books and reading are important. Ryan has some leanings towards the mass media journalism and media, so he found students who had that focus. He does, correct. And Todd, with his digital design and art classes, has kids who are looking at changing things from a different viewpoint. We had some suggestions of students who are involved in Science Olympiad, which is a science competition group. So we had tried to get every kind of student involved. So this would become a space that every student wanted to make use of.
That's great. That's great.
So they had input.
What was very interesting for me, sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay.
Was the distant learning you're having here. So we talked about like informally, and I find it amazing. Like, so students can take classes from different schools online.
Correct. Yeah, we have for a number of years now had students who are taking classes, sometimes classes that Kenston doesn't offer. So we've had students who have taken an advanced physics class that wasn't offered here. We've had students take Japanese, which isn't offered here. A student has taken sign language, which isn't offered as a class. Amazing. So a variety of things. And also, if there are students who want to take classes, but they can't fit them in their schedule for one reason or another, they're able to do those online. And they come here to the hub, and they're able to sit at with their Chromebooks or sit at a desktop computer, because we still have some desktop computers, and work on their class. They work at their own pace. They can work on that at home also, anytime, because it's online. They can get to it anytime, anywhere. But they do a variety of things, and some of them take their classes through Brigham Young University.
That's what I was meaning to ask you. Like, they can also get credits for college, universities.
Correct.
So when they go out from high school, they already have credits for their university they want.
We have had, and I know will have, students who will graduate from college with at least an associate's degree, which is a 2-year degree, and ready to move on and not have to leave high school and begin college with those basic courses.
That's very interesting. You mentioned there was a student who was in the secondary, or was it intermediate education? Intermediate.
When he started that,
When he started,
he was
taking-
in summer after 6th grade.
Yes.
He began taking college classes.
That's amazing,
It is amazing.
and that's an amazing.
He's an
opportunity.
exceptionally intelligent young man.
So that's how
It's-
you motivate students to like work on something bigger, work on something.
It is one of many ways that Kenston works to try and keep
So,
students motivated and
in-
enjoying their education.
Their education, that's right. So they get to choose what they want to learn, how they want to learn. So do students like reading? You seeing everybody here, every student has to
I
come to you?
think so I began my career with elementary school students here at Kenston. This is my 24th year at Kenston.
Oh, 24. That's long. You must love it here. It's an amazing school.
I'm happy doing what I do. That's for sure. And 3rd graders who are just really becoming independent readers. Some people say that at 3rd grade, you, instead of learning to read, you're then reading to learn. At that point, somewhere in there is where that change happens. And they're learning genres of books that they like to read. Some learn that they love mysteries, and some just want to read those funny books, and those. So they're learning those genres.
Important
They're
thing
learning
is to
authors,
to read, to want to read, to like reading.
right? Which is great fun when they want to read so much
Do
that you
students
just
like
can't
reading
stop them.
extra from their curricula, like from their English classes? Do they
Well,
come and ask,
and
"Oh,
one
do
of
you
the
have
things
this?"
that's nice about the library is that's where a student can choose what they want to read. It's not what the teacher says they have to read.
So you not have only the compulsory readers for English language lessons, but you also have some books.
Choice independent reading.
Yes, that's very interesting.
Uh-huh.
Do the students have some book clubs here, reading clubs?
I
so it
did.
can motivate
I did
them
a
to read
4th.
them?
I used to do a 4th grade book club,
Amazing.
where we met once a week, and I think we worked for 6 weeks, and then the group would change again. And I
So
always
you
had full
motivate them,
groups,
finding out new books for them, new authors.
and we read a book together, so they could choose something that I had sets of. So we could all be reading the book, same book, and talk about it and do some extra things that went along with it. And I always had a good group of students. Some of those students are here at the high school these days.
That's very interesting.
so
I
it's
can
fun to
see,
see them.
you interacting with the students. Like you're like their mother here.
That's
they're
the
like
best part of the
leader
day. My interactions with the students.
Yes, that's
That's what really makes me love my job.
very interesting. I can
By
see that.
this point in their education, there are students who have so much work to do as far as their schoolwork and what they're required to read. So they're reading the history books that they need to read for their social studies classes, and they have reading to do for science, and they have an assigned book for English. So there's a lot going on in their lives, homework to do. A lot of students here have jobs outside of school.
That's amazing.
There are kids, as you go around the community, you'll see students who are working at the library, who are public library, who are working at restaurants, who are working at the grocery store. So
That's
there are
high
lots
school
of
students we're talking about.
high school students. And there are students who are involved in athletics. So there are students who are running cross country or playing golf or playing soccer and
I
football.
saw the football match for forthcoming. It was an amazing experience. I brought some friends along,
you?
and they say, "So what league are they in?" Oh, they're high schoolers.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Like,
It is. It is.
yes.
Um,
We take everything professionally.
It seems that way, doesn't it?
Yes, it's
Um,
really seems.
and so students are so busy. The thing that if they don't love it enough, the thing they can cut back on is that independent reading. When you list your priorities, what you need to get done, that can be put at the bottom of the list. There are students who are never going to give that up.
The independent
There
reading.
are the students who that is their favorite way to relax, is to go home at the end of the day and pick up a book and read.
Much better than being bombarded with some not very important news or fake news or what we're talking about.
Well, or
in
just
class
watching
here.
television or on their phones
You
or
have to
whatever.
keep them away from their phones for a while.
That's tough to
with a
do.
book. That's
tough to
But you're
do.
doing a great job here.
Well,
I can
thank you.
see that.
So there are those students who are here all the time. I try to know those students and have books for every student. I've worked hard to make sure I have books, because we all like to read about somebody familiar to us, somebody who's like us. But books also help us learn empathy and understanding of people who are not like us at all.
Right.
There are a lot of things that have gone on in the world in the past that I've learned more about by reading a historical fiction book. And that will motivate me to learn some more about that period of history or that place in the world or what was going on at that time. There are students who would rather escape and read science fiction, what might happen in the future. There are students who want to read about themselves, a realistic fiction book that just says to them, yes, I'm not the only one going through this. I'm not alone.
The students like identifying with
The characters.
with
So I try very hard to have books for every kind of reader.
I would say this is a rather big place. There are lots of books here.
There are.
Lots of computers, and teachers are fighting to have classes in the hub.
We do.
There-
So we teach. There are 3 classes taught. So 2 English electives, the mass media journalism and the digital media classes are both English classes that
Part of
students
the
can
English,
choose to take. They are
yes.
from the English department, but they're electives. So you aren't required to take those classes. But for some students to involve media in your learning of English, and Ryan Novak, who teaches that as an English teacher, is very good at teaching all the aspects of English as he's teaching journalism
So
and
that's
digital
a
media.
very a new approach for me, like teaching media literacy, teaching media, teaching mass media, through teaching English. So the kids are doing it. I mean, the students are doing an amazing job. They're posting videos of everything that's going on in the school and in the community. So I would say that's like a small news media.
It is. It is.
Yes.
When they post to Bomber Media sites, that is the same, very similar to a local newspaper,
So what's
a local
Bomber?
news show. The Kenston Bombers,
Kenston
our
Bombers.
mascot, is airplane, bomber airplane.
That's where the name comes from.
The Bomber Media
Bomber
comes
Media,
from, yes, that.
You have a Bombers football. the
Bombers is
football.
everything.
Yes.
Everything is the Bombers.
What would you-
Last class of the day that's taught in here, and we do 4 blocks, which is very unusual. Most schools don't do
It's 87
4.
minutes.
80 to 8, yes, a
80 to
long
87
period of
minutes of
time that a
class.
student is in one class for one semester.
I've been to other schools, and I can see that not every school has the same length of classes. Not every school has the same, like. So how do schools organize? Like every district organizes in their own way.
Correct.
Like
And
it's not
in the state of Ohio, this Kenston School District is two communities, Auburn and Bainbridge, who came together, set this district up. And everything that's done here, our superintendent, our Board of Education, help other administrators, so high school principal, middle school principal, intermediate school principal, elementary, Timmons Elementary School principal, work with teachers, and the state has a set curriculum that we have to follow and make sure that students have met certain goals and have learned things, but we have a lot of flexibility in
yes,
that.
that's what I wanted to say. Like the teachers, the school districts have a lot of to say. The parents, I mean, the whole community has lot of say in how the educational system, how the education is made, modeled in the
Correct.
district, because we don't have that much in Macedonia. We don't have that much freedom to choose. Also, the teachers have lots of freedom in their teaching. Teachers can propose subjects
Correct.
to the school board.
Well, initially to the principal,
To the principal, yes. So if
but then it
he or she
has to be
approves it.
approved by the superintendent and the Board of Education.
So what's the difference, or who is superintendent, who is a principal in the schools or the school district?
Well, our Board of Education are elected members of the community who volunteer to
Made up
work
of-
with the district, make sure that what the people of this community want is actually happening in the district.
That's good.
They hire the superintendent. The superintendent is basically the boss of everyone. The superintendent has final say on most things. There is an assistant superintendent, and she is in charge of curriculum, so she knows our curriculum best, and she would bring together the English department teachers from all the schools to work and make sure that from kindergarten through 12th grade, students are moving point by point
so
by
curricula
point.
is made on the district level, right?
Correct.
Not imposed by the
Basic
state or
curriculum.
federal.
Well, no, there is a state curriculum that we have to follow.
But in that curriculum, you're making your own
Decisions on how you're going to teach these requirements to your students.
So who is the board made of? The school board, like which people, like
We've elected
teachers?
these people. There are our school board has a woman who is a teacher, a gentleman who is no longer an educator but was a teacher here at Kenston. He was actually here at the beginning of our technology push years ago. But they're all people the community has elected.
So it's not
we
for
have a gentleman on our school board who's a farmer. We have a wide variety of people who.
So the school board has to be comprised of fathers of the students or mothers, like parents of
They
the
don't
students.
have to have students
They don't have to
who
have
go
students.
to school, but they do have to be elected by the community.
So it's not like some people from the ministry, some people of they just
It's
have
not.
to-
There is nothing that says we have to have at least one person
There's
who's an
nothing.
educator, at least one person who does this job.
In
anything
Macedonia,
like
we
that.
have one representative from the municipality, one representative or two representatives from the Bureau of Education, from Ministry of Education, from the parents board, and from the teachers. 3 teachers and 3 parents, and the parents have to be parents of students. They have to have students in the school in order
schools.
to be in the board. It's
Interesting.
a little different.
And our board members, I believe right now, all of them have or have had children who attended Kenston. There have been people serving on the school board whose children went to private schools elsewhere. But right now, I believe that everybody who is on our board either has or has had their children attend the Kenston schools.
That's great. So, is there a message you want to send to teachers, students, librarian specialists
Well,
about
I
education?
do
about
think that in the United States, we're very lucky that the people of the United States believe that a good education is important for every child.
no child left behind?
Yeah. I do think we are especially lucky in this district that the community supports the school by voting for taxes to be paid to support the good things that we do in this school.
That's very interesting. I've seen that parents have a lot of say in the finance, or they can, like many parents can, donate. You made some fundraisers. Like, it's not only the money.
Our parent-teacher organization is a great supporter
Yes.
of the things that go on in the individual
So
buildings.
the fundings do not come only from government, but
Correct.
you do lots of projects, lots of fundraisers, lots of things. So they're very involved in the school community.
Very involved. If you were even more so parent involvement at the elementary schools and the intermediate school, where parents, I could not have gotten by in elementary school libraries without parent volunteers. They were there to check books in and out for students. They were there to help me get things shelved after they were returned. The number of things, the parents at elementary level who not only are part of the PTO and run fundraisers or things, but are there time after time after time to help different programs run, to be in the classroom, to help teachers do all kinds of activities.
That's amazing.
It is remarkable.
Amazing.
A lot of time given by parents to help students succeed.
So they believe in good education.
They do.
Yes. I want to thank you very, very, very much for your time.
Oh, you're welcome. It's been a
Yes.
pleasure to have you here and talk to you about
Thank
things.
you, thank you.
Oh.
So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I'll
Thank
see
you.
you one more time.
Oh, good.
So
Good.
I have great impressions from you and from the Kenston schools.
Good.
The teachers and the assistant principals are amazing. The students are amazing, and I'm very glad I had the chance to be here with you
I'm glad you've
for
been
these
here.
2 months.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you. Oh, amazing.